Hello everyone and welcome to the Let's Talk Wrestling podcast. The wrestling podcast we review Lucha Underground this week, and of course we are reviewing Season 2 Episode 21 named 6 to Survive. My name of course is Turbo Tony. I am the host of this review every single week, slowly getting our way up towards Ultima Lucha Dos, which will be the end of this season. Feels like only a week ago we started up these reviews, and already we're kind of wrapping these things up as we go along. Hope you're having a great week. I'm going to just drop these plugs on you and then speak a little bit about how I almost thought about not doing this episode this week, but I'll speak about it in a second. Of course, if you'd like to interact with us, the main way of doing so is our Facebook page, which is facebook.com/Let's Talk Wrestling Podcast. You can also send us a tweet on our Twitter handle, which is at TalkWrestlePod. You can send us any audio questions or private emails to the email account letstalkwrestlingpodcast@gmail.com. Plenty of ways to get in contact with us here, and any of those questions can also be left in the comment section below, and they'll be answered either on the Lucha Underground show or on the weekend show. Now, the reason why I was a little bit reluctant to even put out this episode is because the actual entirety of this episode was just a single match. And I'm not one of those people that I'd like to go through and tell you all the different spots of the match, because here I'd like to tell you kind of the outline of it, see if you know, that way you know whether or not you might enjoy it, to see it, give you my review, and then that way you can go from it here. The problem is that I don't think this review is going to be that long, simply because it was just one match. From start to finish, it was the 6 to Survive match, which would give us our new contender for the Lucha Underground Championship at Ultima Lucha, which is the match obviously between the winners of last week's match. I'm already getting it wrong. What's going on here? Taya, Evilise, Pentagon Jr., King Cuerno, Johnny Mundo, and Phoenix are the 6 participants in that match. And it's a free-for-all elimination match, so the last person standing is the one that faces Matanza at the big final event. So let me explain this, because this is going to be a very short review. Much in the way that Aztec Warfare was completely its own show, right? As in, it took the very beginning of the show right towards the very end, because that match really does need, an hour really to kind of tell its own story, right? It's such a lengthy match, 20 people coming in, it's Lucha Underground's Royal Rumble. Here they went with this is the only match on the entire card. So literally no scenes, nothing else. For the entirety of the show, it was this match. And as you can imagine, it seemed to me at some points that they struggled to find what would fill that time. I thought the match itself was good. I thought that they, especially towards the latter half of the match, when more and more people started getting eliminated, that the pace of this match dropped drastically. Now, I don't blame the talent for doing so. I mean, they've been wrestling for a long time at that point, and they are trying to fill out a long space of time. I just don't know why they wouldn't have put like another decent match to start off the show, and then that way you've had a much more high-intensity match. It seemed here that it came off like these guys were resting the majority of the match towards the end of it, which is sort of so against the Lucha Underground ethos, which is normally fast, chaotic action, straight away just bang, 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 almost like a machine gun at times. This was completely the other way. They were wasting time in some points here. So if you are a fan of the way Lucha Underground does its matches, and it's almost like it's in fifth gear all the way going through, you probably won't enjoy this show. Let's get into the match anyway, and we'll talk a little bit about it there. So, before any of the eliminations can happen, Mil Muertes makes his return. Remember what happened last week with him being almost resuscitated, resurrected is probably a better word, by Katrina. And he comes in, decimates King Cuerno. And, obviously Muertes now looks like this possessed demon, right? Because he's got these red eyes that he's got about him. He looks absolutely crazy, even scarier than he usually does, which is quite an achievement in its own right. So, a spear powerbomb and then Mundo picks up the scraps. That eliminates Cuerno. So I was thinking at this point, okay, so if this is going to be the entire show, then maybe they're going to come up with pretty interesting storyline reasons for why these guys get eliminated. That was really the only interference that came in the match at all. The rest of it was pretty legit going forward. Taya eliminates Ivelisse after a lengthy scrap between those two. I think if there is a match that those girls are going to have, it's probably going to be against each other. Seems like there's been a rivalry brewing within those two there. After that, Pentagon gives Taya the Shattered Dreams. That's right, I'm talking the Goldust Shattered Dreams. Can't exactly be called the Golden Globes this time because of gender reasons, of course. But yeah, sure. I don't really know where to take that, really. And you got to love the women on this show just in general because they take a beating just as savagely as the men do. It's awesome. They're tough as nails. If there's one thing I've said repeatedly over the course of this season doing reviews for Lucha Underground, is that the women on the show are just awesome. They're they're so tough and they're willing to take some serious hits. I mean, Taya was taking some pretty hectic kicks from Pentagon over the course of this match. Doesn't look like he was holding back any at all on that. He was just really going for it. And nor should they be, right? If they want to be treated, if the women on the roster want to be treated equally, then they have to take the equal hits. And she definitely was taking her fair share. But she was kicking some ass as well, doing some big moves. Taya came off like a badass here. She was dishing out hits as well. Eventually she falls to Pentagon Jr.'s capture driver. Or is it like package drive or whatever they like to call it. But it's a dirty ass move anyway. It looks like it should be finishing people, and I'm glad it does. So she gets eliminated. This leaves Mundo, Phoenix, and Pentagon Jr. in a chop spot where they just end up chopping each other for ages. Which I quite like that spot here where these guys get exhausted. They didn't really go with that, but they were chopping each other pretty hard. I mean, just seeing all these chops must have made Ric Flair just wet with excitement. I'm sure he bled looking at this just with happiness. And the crowd are giving him his just dues, as you would expect. So, this is at the point here, we're getting into the second half of the match, where obviously there's less guys, there's less big spots going on, there's less people to be able to fill that time. This is where, like I said before, I think it is a good. This match is good, but it's wrestled at a pace that the pace slows even further as the match goes on, which is fine because I kind of get it. These guys are gassed and everything, but it doesn't make it. Still, I wasn't that excited by what was going on. To the point there was actually a certain point here where I kind of tuned out of the match, which is very rare for me in Lucha Underground. It's like they tried to stretch out this match to fit out their time when they could have condensed it down and, like I said beforehand, just put another match at the start of the show to carve off the 10 minutes here. But still. So there's a part here where there's like a mix-up pinfall here, where Mundo is the one that ends up getting eliminated, so he's gone. Then, obviously, Phoenix and Pentagon are throwing bombs at each other. You get a Hurricane Rana from the top rope. But then, as I said, a lot of resting moments here, where they would hit a big move, then they're resting. They would face off for a bit, then they would rest. They hit another big move, then they would rest. The pace of the match slowed to a crawl at this point. And I think it did kill some of the... some of the excitement maybe for the show. It's almost like that thin line. At times people may say here, well, Tony, they can't seem to win with you. Sometimes you say they go too fast, it's too chaotic, and here they're saying they're going too slow. There's a big drastic change here. They're all going very slow here. And I know they're trying to tell the story of an endurance race and everything like that. It just didn't resonate that well with me, personally. It just seemed like they were stretching stuff out. Pentagon ends up... hitting the package driver. He wins the match, so he will face Matanza for the championship at Ultima Lucha DOS. They come out, Matanza and Dario, just to look at the new challenger, and Pentagon tells them, look, tell your brother I'm going to break every single bone in his body, and when I'm done with him, I'll do the same to you as well, because I'm Pentagon Jr. and Zero fear. Zero miedo. So that is the entire show. I know it may seem like, wow, that's it. Yeah, that one match is the entire show. There's not multiple matches here. There's not multiple storylines. Nothing like that. And because of that, I have to say that this week is the show this week is a weak one. Sorry, poor choice of words. I just don't think it has nearly as much to it. I know it does what we need to, because we need that challenger to be put in. I just don't know why they didn't shave off some of the time. Add an extra match on there. It would have made that 6 to survive match better anyway, right? With the big moves towards the end of the match, it just went very, very long, with no extras, no scenes, no in-ring work. Man, this is a little bit damning here, but I'm going to say it's actually a skip it from myself this week. I don't think you need to search out this match and watch it. I don't think it was groundbreaking or phenomenal by any means. It was good, but it's not great. And when you've got only that as the show, then it's kind of hard for me to recommend it. So I am going to go skip it this week on this episode of Lucha Underground. I wish there was more really to speak about, but really there isn't. There was just that match and that alone. And I do think you can find better, shorter matches in other places over the course of this week. So a little bit of a shame there, but that's just my review. I won't give you the plugs again because there really is no point. I understand that. So I'll tell you what, I'll let you guys to it. My name's been Turbo Tony. Hope you have a great week, and I'll catch you all next time. Thanks a lot now, and bye-bye.